What's up everybody, it's Sean here, and today's video, if you haven't guessed from the title alone, is going to be extremely different from my typical reviews that I do for you guys. So today's video is actually sponsored by Temu. Temu is one of the world's largest online marketplaces, and exclusive to viewers of my channel, they're offering new users a $100 Canadian coupon bundle by using this code down below. So if you check out the link which is down in the description box below, or by scanning this QR code, once you search up that exclusive coupon code for my channel, you'll have 24 hours to utilize that code and claim it. So again, this is for the Temu mobile app and it's eligible for new users only. So if that's something that fits your criteria, check them out and take advantage of the savings right now. So before going any further, again, this video is sponsored by Temu. And my experience personally shopping at Temu has been pretty limited. Prior to this, I only knew about them for buying knickknacks and little household items. But when they approached me and talked about sponsoring this video, I was thinking, how about checking out the sneakers that they have for sale on their platform? Because to be honest, this is something I normally wouldn't have considered, but I'm always open to new experiences. So I want to give an honest, unbiased review of some of the shoes that they have posted on their platform. And even though this is a sponsored video, they're totally allowing me to be candid and honest about their products. So if it's good, I'm gonna say it's good, and if it's terrible, I'm gonna say it's terrible. First things first though, of the 4 shoes that I bought, none of them came in an actual shoe box. They were all just shipped in bags. So I also picked up this storage bin right here. This comes with a lid, a handle, and 2 locks on either side. And this comes in a pack of 4, which is the exact amount of shoes that I bought. So this I consider to be my pseudo shoe box for each of the shoes that I picked up. And I have to say the quality of this is pretty standard. It's pretty sturdy. It has a nice feel to it. So at least from a first impression for this product, I thought it was pretty decent quality. So the first shoe I have is this pair right here. And they don't really have official names on the Temu app. It's just a very general description of the shoe. So for the purpose of this video, I'm calling this shoe number 1. So as you can see, this is a very chunky, very exaggerated looking silhouette. And first things first, they didn't offer my true size, which in my case is a size 10. So I had to settle with a size 9.5. And I feel like this shoe runs a little bit big because the 9.5 I thought was doable. I think a 10 would have been ideal, but the 9.5 didn't feel snug whatsoever. Anyways, breaking down the details of this particular shoe, you'll see how the upper is crafted out of synthetic leather and has this molded look to it. So the top layer here, this is done in this burgundy color and it has a sculpted look to it with these fake perforations. Underneath this, we have 2 layers. We have this thick white colored piping along with a navy blue colored synthetic layer on the bottom. This runs down the entire length of the shoe, and then on the heel we have this gray colored synthetic layer on the top along with this woven pull tab running down the center. In terms of the laces, this pair only comes with 1 lace option, and they're a very chunky rope style lace done in this khaki or light brown color. Underneath this, the tongue is crafted out of a white colored mesh, but we have a layer of synthetic blue leather on the top, and then pressed on the top we have the letters DL, I have no idea what this stands for. And then the interior of the shoe, this is covered in a very soft synthetic blue colored leather. It feels extremely broken in. The insoles that come with this shoe is actually pretty well padded. It's your typical foam lined insole but has a decent thickness to it, especially on the heel area. Moving on, so the upper of the shoe, it sits atop an extremely chunky, super massive foam midsole. And one thing that I couldn't really tell from the pictures alone is that on the heel, on the lateral side, it looks like an air bubble, but in real life, this is actually just a piece of plastic which protrudes out of the midsole, but there's no actual air bubble or air unit within this midsole itself. And then for the bottom, we have this crosshatch style rubber outsole, and I was pleased to see that they use actual rubber on this shoe. So in terms of the comfort for this particular pair, honestly, they felt extremely firm underfoot. So this midsole, while it's super chunky, there's pretty much no give, and it feels rock hard underfoot. All the comfort is coming from that plush insole, and unfortunately, the midsole, because of how firm it is, feels pretty uncomfortable. And because of how stacked the heel is, your feet are just sliding downwards because the height difference between the heel and the forefoot was pretty extreme. So it leaves you with this unnatural feeling where you're kind of just slanted forward. Coupled with the firmness of the midsole, these honestly felt pretty uncomfortable. Moving on to shoe number 2. So this one, again, was not offered in the size 10 for some reason, so I settled with a size 9.5, having no idea how these would fit. So trying them on, again, in terms of the sizing, these run true to size because the 9.5 was pretty snug on me. I would definitely need at least a size 10 for this shoe. And if anything, if you don't have your true size, go up half a size instead of going down. So taking a deep dive into this particular shoe, shoe number 2, again, the base layer of this shoe is crafted out of a white colored mesh. Overlaid on top of this on the toe box, you can see we have this synthetic leather, which has this fake tumbled look to it. And then overlaid on the toe box, we have this W-shaped overlay of this synthetic suede, and it feels pretty scratchy to the touch. Moving downwards, we have these perforations on the leather panel, and then covering the eyelets, we have more of that suede that we saw earlier on the front toe cap. Underneath this, we have more mesh, and then overlaid on the lateral side only, we have this large cream-colored TPU overlay, and then next to this, we have more mesh, more of that synthetic white leather, and then on the bottom of the heel, we have this large synthetic suede layer, along with another leather panel on the top of the heel. For the laces, again, this pair only comes with one lace option, and they're a very chunky cream-colored rope-style lace. Underneath this, the tongue is also crafted out of mesh, and on the top, we have this synthetic leather layer. Along with the word start, this is extremely random, but this is pressed on in black at the very top of the tongue. And above this, there's also a small pull tab here too. So the back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is lined in mesh, and there's a decent amount of padding on here, not overly stuffed, but there is a layer of noticeable foam underneath here. The insoles though, let me talk about these insoles, because I've never seen insoles like this. You'll see how the foam here looks like it's made out of honeycomb. So this, I have to say, unfortunately feels extremely cheap. I imagine once you wear these a couple times, the foam will really just flatten down. But while the insole isn't the best quality, I thought the midsole of this shoe, compared to the shoe number 1 at least, it had much more of a plush feel underfoot. So this midsole has a very chunky look, just like shoe number 1. It has a sculpted design from heel to toe, but again, it has a noticeable softness to it that shoe number 1 did not. The outsole though, this I had a big problem with because it doesn't seem like they actually have rubber on this. It just looks like they sculpted the foam to give it some traction, but in the absence of rubber, I felt like I was slipping all over when I was wearing these indoors. So all in all, it's really hard for me to judge fairly because this shoe was half size too small for me, but I do have to say the comfort of this shoe was a step up over shoe number 1. So while I wouldn't say that it's a very comfortable sneaker, I felt like it was noticeably more comfortable than the first pair, mainly because of the plushness of this foam in the midsole. But unfortunately, all the materials used on this shoe are synthetic, but you get what you pay for considering the price point. Moving on, this is shoe number 3. So this shoe is more of a sporty-ish looking silhouette as opposed to the first two, which had more of a lifestyle sort of vibe. So this shoe was available in a size 10, which is my true size, so that's what I grabbed these in, and they do fit true to size. Jumping into the details of this shoe, so the upper of the shoe is crafted in what looks like an engineered mesh. So on the toe box, you can see it has more of an open style weave to it, whereas surrounding the edges of the toe box, it's much more tightly wound, but I thought the color differentiation of the knit was really dope, where there's different tones of blue, giving it more of a heathered look. Covering the eyelets, we have these fused layers, which add some durability to the shoe. Surrounding the eyelets themselves, it has an iridescent painted finish to it. And then underneath this on the mid panel, we have this stripe, which is crafted out of this yellow colored knit. And then moving downwards, we have another layer of fuse covering the heel. And on the lateral side, we have the word sport, which is pressed on in yellow. This I thought was pretty funny. It reminded me of Rob Lowe rocking the NFL hat. And then on the heel of the shoe, we have this bright yellow pull tab. The laces that these come with is a flat style blue colored lace, and then underneath this we have a very thin tongue which is crafted out of a blue colored mesh. We also have a yellow pull tab here as well, and again we have the word sport featured here just like we saw on the lateral heel. The interior of the shoe is covered in this blue colored mesh, and there's some padding to it. It feels pretty thin, but there is some layer of foam within here. For the insoles, just like shoe number 2, these insoles felt really cheap. It almost feels like a foam cup, so it's very thin, it has this dimpled look to it, which kind of gives you some level of step-in comfort, but this will definitely flatten really quickly over time. Moving on, so the upper of the shoe, it sits atop this midsole, which I was very curious about. So the midsole here utilizes some sort of technology that reminds me of Zoom Air. So we have these different pods on both the forefoot, the middle, we have these double stacked pods on the heel, and there's one also on the very back of the shoe. So while this technology is something we probably have seen before, in terms of the actual performance and how they feel, unfortunately it doesn't have that springy, bouncy feel that I was expecting. Instead, they collapse very easily, so it has a very soft feel underfoot, so they're not going to give you that energy return and the responsiveness that I expected. So that's not to say that it's uncomfortable, but it just feels extremely unsupportive. And it's not really a shoe I'd want to wear for many hours because the lack of responsiveness with this technology, it just feels like my feet are collapsing this midsole with each step. For the bottom of the shoe though, so the outsole here is crafted out of rubber, and this is done in this translucent blue colored finish. And we have this wavy style traction pattern that runs from heel to toe. Last but not least, this is shoe number 4, and this was like a late addition that I picked up just because of how cheap this shoe was. This came in at under 20 Canadian dollars, so this was really cheap, and I was curious to see if the quality of this reflected that price or would they over deliver for what I paid. So first off, I got these in my true size, and I have to say they do fit true to size. Obviously, as you can tell, the style of this shoe, it has a very sock-like fit. But I have to say the first thing that I noticed once I got these in hand is that this knitted upper feels extremely thin. This is basically translucent, and it's a very thin layer of mesh, and it reminded me a bit of women's stockings, except on your foot. So the mesh layer here is definitely not good quality. We have the center stitching that runs all the way to the top of the tongue. We have these 4 eyelets which hold the laces in place, and the laces are these rope style laces in white. On the heel, we have this rubber pull tab with the words Design 2020 on it, and then running down the center of the heel, we have another pull tab here as well, also done in white. The insoles that come with these shoes are also extremely thin, and they feel very cheap as well. So this insole feels like it will flatten very quickly, and it doesn't really feel too comfortable underfoot as well. One big issue I had about this shoe though is the collar. The ribbing here had 0 stretch, meaning my left foot, because it's a bit fatter than my right, I actually could not get my foot inside the shoe. So while they do run true to size, assuming you can get your foot inside the shoe, if you have a high instep or just a fatter foot, buyer beware, you might have some difficulties getting your foot inside the actual shoe itself. However, there are some sort of positives. The midsole of the shoe has this very unique carved out look to it. And this foam, while it's not the best quality, had a decent amount of step-in comfort, at least for the short term. I don't know how long this foam will last, but just from trying them on and walking around a little bit in them, they offer a little bit of cushioning underfoot, and they're a lot softer than pair number 1, which was hard as a rock. And then for the bottom of the shoe, again, there's no actual rubber here. They've just texturized the foam on the midsole. The pattern is very unique though, I have to give them that. It almost looks like a floral pattern, but in terms of actual grip, it doesn't really offer too much here as well. So overall, I think the quality matches the price point. This really feels like a disposable sort of sneaker, one that you'd rock maybe in emergency situations. I don't really see too much long-term wear with a shoe like this. So there you have it. That was my review of 4 of my sneaker picks from Temu. And while all 4 sort of had their own redeemable qualities about them, I think generally speaking, I really wasn't impressed with the shoes. And I think going forward, I'm gonna stick to buying household items and storage solutions and other things like that from Temu instead of actually buying shoes. So let me know in the comment section down below between shoe 1, shoe 2, 3, and 4. How would you rank them from best to worst? For me, I think my favorite was probably shoe number 2, followed by shoe number 3, number 1, and then number 4 coming in at last. And as usual, if you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I'll link my social media accounts down below for you guys to check out and follow. And again, another huge thank you goes out to Temu for sponsoring today's video. And before I sign off, for new Temu app users, scan this QR code or check out the link down below to get your 100 Canadian dollar coupon bundle. So thank you again, and I'll catch everybody in my next video.